Good day. I'm Dr. Jennifer Schwartz, Vice President of Learning and Public Programs at the Chicago Botanic Garden. I'm happy to be here today to share the work we've been doing to improve community health through sustainable urban agriculture partnerships through our Windy City Harvest program. However, I'm going to begin by providing some context and background about the Chicago Botanic Garden so you have a sense of who we are and how we work. The Chicago Botanic Garden is located in the Midwest United States in the state of Illinois. Despite our name, the main campus of the Chicago Botanic Garden is not in the city of Chicago, but rather is located approximately 30 miles or 50 kilometers outside the city in Glencoe, Illinois, in the northeast corner of Cook County, the municipality which includes the city of Chicago and its immediate suburbs. We're relatively young for a botanic garden. We opened to the public in 1972 and just celebrated our 50th anniversary last year. We are a public-private partnership between the Chicago Horticultural Society, an independent nonprofit, and the Forest Preserves of Cook County, the local government agency responsible for protecting and managing public land. We're located on Forest Preserve land and receive just under 1/4 of our budget from Cook County taxpayers. We have over 1.2 million visitors annually and 61,000 member households, one of the largest botanic garden memberships in the United States. We have a total of 385 acres or 156 hectares. Approximately 1/3 is natural areas, 1/3 landscape gardens, and 1/3 water and aquatic ecosystems. We currently hold more than 2.8 million living plants. These plants are of native and non-native origin and are found in the garden's public terrestrial and aquatic displays. The current permanent collection includes trees, shrubs, vines, hardy perennials, and tropical plants for a total of more than 14,000 taxa. Our natural areas comprise 60% of the garden's acreage and are recognized as models for excellence in restoration and habitat recreation. A 100-acre or 40-hectare remnant woodland with soil that was never plowed now hosts an exceptional diversity of native plant and animal species. Our prairie, river, and shoreline habitats, however, occur on heavily engineered soils where ecologists are working to recreate different habitats that were once common in the Chicago region. In most of our natural areas, we allow natural processes to operate, using management techniques like prescribed burning and invasive species control to support the widest diversity of native species possible. Strong design lies at the heart of the Chicago Botanic Garden's landscaped areas and began with the first master site plan by John O. Simons in the late 1960s. From that original vision, 28 different display gardens have evolved. Many are definitive examples of American modernist landscape design. As I noted earlier, the Chicago Botanic Garden is quite young. However, our roots go back much farther, to the late 1800s with the formation of the Chicago Horticultural Society in 1890. This laid the groundwork for our current focus on social justice, community, and inclusion. The original bylaws of the society had an emphasis on education and connecting people to plants in meaningful ways. Early on, the Chicago Horticultural Society made children's gardens a priority. This focus was carried even through the Society's flower shows. Later, the Society also brought nature to children in schools, illustrated by the 1956 photo of some of the Society's earliest school programs. Likewise, the Society included fairs for many hospitals and health charities. In the 1950s through the 1970s, individuals with disabilities were encouraged, welcomed, and accommodated with easy access. During World War II, the Chicago Horticultural Society actively supported the Victory Garden movement, which was a United States Office of Civilian Defense initiative designed both to support civilian food rations with fresh fruits and vegetables and to bring communities together. These three examples illustrate how social responsibility is a core part of the identity of the Chicago Botanic Garden. These historical interests in community gardening, therapeutic horticulture, and equitable access to nature evolved to include Windy City Harvest, which is the focus of my talk today. The Chicago Botanic Garden's Windy City Harvest is a social enterprise that focuses on three guiding principles: providing fresh access to fresh produce, eating for health and wellness, and workforce development. We do this through a variety of programs, including a pathway of training in urban sustainable agriculture and related green jobs, and our vegetable prescription program. We started the program with one farm in the far north suburbs of Chicago in 2003 in partnership with the Lake County Forest Preserves. That collaboration provided the model that we have used since in expanding our programs. We do not own any land and only operate farms where we have deep community partnerships. We've come a long way since then. Currently, we have 13 working and teaching farms in the city of Chicago, covering a total of about 4 acres or 1.6 hectares. I'm going to start today in Glencoe at the main campus of the Chicago Botanic Garden. As I mentioned earlier, as an affiliate of the Forest Preserves of Cook County, we're mandated to serve the entire municipality, including the city of Chicago. So we're going to head into the Chicago region to the farm on Ogden, our satellite campus, which is the home of Windy City Harvest. The farm on Ogden is located in the North Lawndale neighborhood on Chicago's west side, about a 30-mile drive south of Glencoe. This flagship community hub provides workforce development training and food access in the North Lawndale neighborhood. It includes community commercial kitchen, year-round market, aggregation room, a 50,000-gallon aquaponics system, greenhouses, community classroom, offices for staff, and outdoor farm beds. It was developed in partnership with the Lawndale Christian Health Center, a collective of community health centers on Chicago's west side that serve local residents. Obesity and health-related diseases are a concern for these communities. And so after many years of partnering on one local farm, the Chicago Botanic Garden and the Health Center collaborated to develop the space, which opened in 2018. The Health Center owns the building and paid for its renovation to white box status. And the agreement with the garden is that we would pay to outfit the space with what we needed to run programs that benefit the community. It's an example of the deep partnerships that are the basis of our urban agriculture programming, and illustrative of how these partnerships allow for co-developed and co-implemented solutions that leverage the expertise of the Chicago Botanic Garden in the service of community-identified goals. It's the collaborative nature of these partnerships that make them successful and impactful. One of the first sites you'll see at the farm on Ogden is our aquaponics system. Aquaponics is an ecologically efficient system that maximizes growing space, water, and fertilization. The tilapia are raised in tanks of water that flow to the root systems of plants grown in floated raised beds, so that the waste from the fish provides food for the plants, and the plants keep the water clean. We produce 2,200 heads of lettuce per week, which are sold at the Farm on Ogden Market and supply restaurants in Chicago, such as a North Lawndale favorite, Green Tomato Cafe. If you venture further in, you'll find our commercial kitchen, where we train program participants to create value-added products from the produce they grow. We also allow community members who have local catering companies to use the kitchen as they are launching their own businesses. A number of our program graduates find jobs in the food and food distribution industries. Also hosted at the Farm on Ogden is our VeggieRx produce prescription program. It provides free produce along with nutrition training to qualified participants through doctor-prescribed boxes of fruits and vegetables. We partner with community health centers, the Lawndale Christian Health Center, and PCC Wellness Center, which refer patients who are experiencing food insecurity or have diet-related diseases, such as hypertension or diabetes. We also run farm stands at 3 VeggieRx distribution sites, creating a market channel for local farmers in communities that need it most. Currently, we distribute about 17,000 boxes of produce annually. The Farm on Ogden is also the site of North Lawndale Youth Farm, which serves Chicago's young people with annual paid training opportunities. We run an additional youth farm program in Washington Park, another Chicago neighborhood. Our youth farm program is how Windy City Harvest began 20 years ago to support community needs for fresh produce and provide paid employment for teenagers in disinvested communities. About 40 Chicago public high school students participate each year, They learn how to grow produce sustainably, cook healthy meals, explore environmental issues, and participate in social-emotional learning. Now I'll introduce you to our workforce development training programs for adults. The Farm on Ogden was developed as a workforce training hub. The first program in the pathway towards a living wage green job is the CORE program. Our CORE program is a transitional jobs program that was also designed to meet the same community needs as Youth Farm, fresh produce and jobs, but for justice-impacted adults. CORE is a full-time paid work opportunity for 35 individuals annually. Participants spend 13 weeks working with Windy City Harvest and then receive support in finding long-term employment in food system-related fields. Many of our CORE graduates move on to the next program in our training and complete our apprenticeship program through the production assistant pathway. So the next opportunity in our workforce development pathway is the production assistant role. This is a paid opportunity that allows 7 CORE alumni to stay working with Windy City Harvest between the time when the CORE program ends and the apprenticeship program, the next phase of training, begins. It may seem small or unimportant, but providing that interim job between programs is really critical for the success of our participants, many of whom are facing significant challenges integrating successfully back into the workforce from the criminal justice system. The Windy City Harvest Apprenticeship Program provides hands-on technical training and paid work experiences for 20 participants annually. Upon completion, they receive a certificate in sustainable urban agriculture. The apprenticeship program is delivered in collaboration with the City Colleges of Chicago, where our apprentices complete the classroom portion of their training. They start in February, learning every point of the seasonal agriculture system, including plant propagation, soil science, field preparation, transplanting, and direct seeding, crops, harvesting, and post-harvest handling. They rotate field experience on our 13 farm sites. Since 2009, we've had over 250 participants with a 90% placement rate in the field, working as growers, educators, and food system leaders. Both our CORE and apprenticeship program are grounded in partnerships. As jobs training programs, we're closely aligned with both the social services organizations and community-based nonprofits for referrals for program participants. We work with these organizations to ensure that we're reaching the target audiences for our participant recruitment efforts. Likewise, we depend on close relationships with employment partners throughout the city who know us and know that we provide high-quality training and hire our program graduates. Once apprentices have completed their program, they have the option to take an intensive business development class and apply for an incubator farm plot. The program supports the growth of small farm businesses owned by our apprenticeship graduates through training and land access. We have incubated 28 businesses since 2012, and we've helped 15 businesses move off Windy City Harvest land and continue to operate independently. One example of a successfully incubated farm is Cedillo's Family Farm, which graduated to advanced land in partnership with Grow Greater Englewood, another neighborhood in Chicago. They currently farm a 1/4 of an acre site and sell at farmers markets at Little Village, Rogers Park, and Back of the Yards communities on the north and west sides of Chicago. As I mentioned earlier, we're now in year 20 of running Windy City Harvest and have been at the Farm on Ogden since 2018. We've learned a lot about training people in sustainable urban agriculture, working with communities, workforce development, and working with populations that have barriers to employment. And we're finding that other organizations are looking to us to help them develop their own local urban agriculture programs. We've provided intensive training to a total of 28 organizations, mostly botanic gardens, community organizations, and colleges and universities over the past 3 years. We did this through a partnership with the United States Botanical Garden and the American Public Garden Association, which provided funding to support multi-day in-person workshops for teams from those organizations that made it through a competitive application process. Currently, we're mentoring 7 organizations that participated in the original training as they put what they've learned into practice. So to summarize, The work of the Chicago Botanic Gardens Windy City Harvest program is focused on supporting individual and community health through locally based partnerships and collaborations that respond directly to the specific needs expressed by community members and organizations. With shared goals, distributed expertise, and mutual respect, Windy City Harvest, the Lawndale Christian Health Center, and all of our other community partners are working towards creating community-based economic opportunities, along with a more equitable and just food system in Chicago. Thank you. I'm happy to take any questions.